feel about dedications? I feel like we've talked about this before, but this one I think was a little bit special.
I like them. I love seeing who they dedicate it to. I like it when they make it a little funny.
Yeah.
Or like they add a little bit of me in there. I love that shit.
Do you remember when we read Christina Lauren's Paradise Problem book? And we were both like shocked that she brought up Army.
Oh, yeah. Because she was an Army.
Do you remember that?
Good for her. Good for her.
So who was this book dedicated to?
The dedication in the book we're going to talk about today says, if you've ever cleaned someone else's dirty toilet, if you've ever been cussed out while working a cash register, if you've ever gotten covered in restaurant trash juice, this one's for you. You deserve a lot more than a book.
And I've done all three. So thank you so much, Delilah.
So let's kind of take this minute to go off. We've both worked customer service.
Yes, we have.
I have worked food customer service.
I feel like is a hell in its own. Like a different kind of hell. You know?
But the thing is, I've worked food and I've worked retail, but you've been manager before.
Yeah, I have.
And I feel like that's another shit. Like, piled on top of already all the shitty situations you have to deal with.
It was very stressful.
Dude. Okay, give me one story. One
story? There's so many.
From manager or not manager, just something you remember. And you don't need a name where you worked. It could just be retail.
Well, like, I can give you so many. There's one that I'm thinking of right now.
Okay.
So, I was the manager during this time. And it was during Christmas time, okay? So my store had signs, like sale signs, right? Which I think a lot of stores do, so it's not giving it away. Mm-hmm. But when it has a sale sign, we still have, like, in the actual ad, I don't even think they do ads anymore. Like when they give you like a whole magazine thing or a booklet, whatever. Yeah. But I think there were commercials that people would see that was like, Christmas at this store, 50% off. You know what I mean? So there was this one time, and I think I sent you a voice note of this moment because I was so fucking over it. Yeah. It was just a very stressful time. Christmas in general, oh my God. I think everyone needs to work at a retail store during Christmas time so you can just, like, shut the fuck up. You know what I mean? Like, just so you can relax a little bit. Mm-hmm. So I was walking, like, down the registers section, like behind the registers, because I was going to go to lunch. Mm-hmm. So I wasn't even clocked in anymore at that point. But one of the cashiers was having trouble with a customer because the customer was visibly angry, like so fucking angry about the prices of everything. Like, she was one of those where it was like, okay, scan one thing, something's not adding up here, no, why is it so much money? And I was just happened to be there, and so I stop kind of to like oversee a little bit. I don't think I jumped in immediately.
So you're on your lunch.
I was on my lunch, but also I wasn't sure if they even needed me. Yeah, you know. So this customer was complaining because everything was supposed to be half off, right? And I think at this point I went up to talk to her. So she's telling me everything is half off, but it's not coming up as half off. So I was explaining to her that on the ticket, on the
I do remember
barcode, on the barcode, it says the price, right? Let's say it's $10, okay? So I tell her, okay, it is half off because when we scan it, it's $5. But she's like, no.
She wanted half off of that price.
Yes, she wanted half off of whatever it was scanned. And I was like, that doesn't make any sense because it's originally $10. So it's $5 now. So it is half off. So I kept trying to, like, I remember I was very confused, but I stayed really, like, kind in the beginning. But there was a certain point when she just, like, pissed me off so much that I was confused. You know, I didn't understand because she wasn't explaining herself very well. And so she was just like, no, I want half off of the $5. And I was like, no, that's not the sale though. The sale is half off from the original, the original ticketed price, whatever. Yep. I remember she was one of those that was like, well, you know what? Then I'm not going to take anything then. I'm not going to take anything and I'm just going to leave and I'm never going to come back. And I was like, okay, that's fine. Then don't come back. And I was like, and I was so over it. I was like, and I'm going to go on my lunch. Okay, so we're done here. Okay, great. And so then I just left.
Love that.
I was so mad because I sent you and I think I sent another friend. I don't remember, but I was just so like, what the fuck did I do wrong? Like, I was trying to be so patient with this woman and she just didn't want to budge. You know what I mean? Can I tell you another moment? I'm sorry.
Yes, I'm sorry. I fucking love this. Go ahead.
There was this other moment, and I just want to say, do you ever see somebody and you know they're going to give you trouble?
Yes.
So I was up at the registers helping a cashier, right? And then there was this older man with a big ass frame. Huge dude. It was so fucking big. And he wanted to return this frame. And so I asked a different manager. I was like, hey, I'm helping this cashier. Do you mind just jumping in real fast to help this gentleman? And so he does. He jumps in. He hops on. He's like, okay, sir, how can I help you today? And he's just like, I want to return this frame. And he was like, okay, where's your receipt? And the guy's like, I don't have a receipt. But like, if you were to look at this man, he was very just like, doesn't look you in the eye, doesn't look at your face. He's just looking like either straight or down. I can't remember, but he was just like not looking
at you,
at anybody in the eyes, which is fine. I mean, I feel like I do that sometimes too, but he was visibly upset and it was kind of like scary a little bit. And he kept telling this other manager, I don't have my receipt. Can I just have my refund? And so the manager was trying to explain to him, this frame is on clearance. If I give you a refund on what it's priced, it's like cents. It's like 5 cents. Like, you know, that's obviously not what you paid. So no, I can't just give you a refund. This guy takes the frame, smashes it on the ground and walks away. Just leaves.
Okay, sir, but you already paid for it. So I didn't lose any money. You kind of just made a fool of yourself.
Yeah.
You are so strong.
Yeah.
My patience, I'm not there anymore. And sometimes I think about the customer service I did do. That ain't me. I cannot do that shit
What
anymore.
about you? What's the worst thing that you can remember?
Well, the one that comes to mind for food was I worked weird hours. There was a time, because I worked graveyard shift and I did 10 to 7. My hours never made sense. And I would literally stay from 10 to 10 and they would still pay me for 10 to 7 because they didn't want to give me overtime. So
I do remember that actually.
It was weird. I came in once and it was 10 and my friend had just worked and I had texted him and I was like, is the store looking good? We're fine? And he's like, I try to leave it as clean as possible for you. I'm so sorry if it doesn't look clean. I'm like, no, it's okay. No worries. I go in, it's 10 and we're closing up the front of the food place. And this guy comes in and he's holding a box of food with him. And he just looks at me like he just walks in, stands in the front, and I'm at the register and I'm just like, oh, okay. He just looks at me and I'm like, hello, sir. He doesn't say anything. Can I help you with something? Like, do you need? He's like, my food's cold. I'm just like, oh, you just came in from the outside and brought our food in here. Like, I'm sorry. Did you need it remade? Like, what happened? He's like, I got food here and it's cold. And I was like, okay. And if he had just said that, I would have been like, okay, I'll go ask the cook to make another one. That's fine. But then he showed me his receipt to prove that he had bought it. And I'm like, sir, you bought this at 8 a.m. It says on the receipt that you bought this at 8 a.m. It is currently 10 p.m. Your food is going to be cold. That's kind of how food works, sir. Yeah. It gets cold. And he was like, are you trying to say I'm stupid? Yeah. And I'm just like, no, I'm saying that you bought this hours ago. I can't give you more food because of something that you bought hours ago. That's just how. And he was angry and he was shaking his food. It's cold. And he was just going crazy. And I was just like, sir, I'm not going to give you more food. If you want to buy more, that's fine. And then my manager comes out and is like, what's going on? What's going on? And he explains himself. And she looks at the receipt and says the same thing as me. Like, you bought this at 8 a.m., you know? And then she goes like, but you know what, sir? My cashier was wrong.
Oh, like, God.
You're right. You should me, who I'm not the cook, you should go make him food. Like, go ahead. And I knew how to make it, whatever. But I was just kind of like, fine. whatever. Okay, sorry, sir. And then he gets his cold food. She walks away and apologizes to him. He gets his cold food and opens it and just tosses it where the register is, like on the table. And he was like, clean it up. And I remember going like, I'm going to go grab a towel. I'll get your food started. Thank you.
Oh my God.
And I walked back there and the cook was back there cleaning something up. And I looked at him and I was like, I'm about to kill that guy.
Yeah.
Oh my God. You don't know how angry I am.
Yeah.
I think that was the worst.
I feel you. Like literally the anger.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Some people are so fucking entitled.
There was that. And then there was this one time where the line for drive-thru was backed up. Mm-hmm. And on our side, you can see how many minutes it takes to get through drive-thru. Mm-hmm. So as soon as someone is on one side, as soon as someone is at the door, when you give them their food, when they pay, a timer starts. So when you do a credit card transaction, your timer starts at 0 and it starts counting up. Mm-hmm. And you're supposed to be able to get them out at 2 minutes. But there was such a backup of food that the person who was at the window, and I kept going to them, I apologize, we're taking a very long time. Mm-hmm. And, whatever. And it had been 16 minutes of them sitting at the drive-thru. And I felt so bad, but there was nothing I could do. Yeah. I'm not the cook. And I remember coming and I was going to be like, hey, I threw in extra fries for you. Cause like I know this sucks and stuff. And I told them that I was like, I threw in extra food for you. I'm sorry. And then he just looks at me and is just like, just looking, just trying to stare me down, intimidate me. And I forget how he asked it, but he basically said that he wanted to kill me.
Oh my God.
And I just looked at him and I was just like, I'm sorry about that. Did you want any extra sauces?
Is he the one that said he wanted to skin you?
Yes! Oh my God.
He wanted to skin you alive?
He wanted to skin me alive. And then he stared me down.
Fuck?
And I was just like,
I remember when you told me that, I was so fucking angry.
Yeah.
It's like, let me go find this bitch.
I don't know if he was the same guy that pulled my shirt. Because there was one that tried pulling me out the window. And I was just like, sir, I'm in here. I'm in here.
Yeah.
Customer service isn't for the weak.
It really isn't. But can I just bring something up? Customer service during peak COVID was hell. Fucking hell, dude. Did you work?
No.
You're lucky because, oh my God, dude, so many fucking people did not want to walk in with masks. Whatever. Don't care. But it's like, I have to tell you to wear a mask, right? Mm-hmm. That's what's going on currently, right? But then there was a period of time when there wasn't anyone up front anymore to make sure that everyone had a mask on when you walk in. So I remember I went up to this fucking man, and you already know, balding, white, but like reddish. You know what I mean? Fucking father of 4, probably, maybe more. I don't know. I went up to him and I was like, oh, sorry, you have to wear a mask when you're in here. Completely ignored me. So then I kind of like, because he was at like a grid in the middle of the aisle. So I kind of like went around and I was like, oh, sorry, I don't know if you heard me. And he was like, COVID's not even fucking real. So I'm not going to fucking wear a mask. And I was like, okay, fuck. You know what I mean?
What the fuck is wrong with people?
I was so taken aback that I was kind of just like, I didn't ask you for your thoughts on COVID. I told you to wear a mask.
Oh, and you know that reminds me of the people at our there's a retail store that everyone goes to in our town, and they have door greeters, and they have to sign your receipt to make sure that like you bought what you're taking out. Yeah. And the door greeter in our town, I know him very well because he was really good friends with my mom. Mm-hmm. He's the sweetest old man you've ever met. Mm-hmm. And I remember anytime I go to the store, there's always people that complain about that shit. Like the fact that you have to get your receipt signed. Okay. Mm-hmm. There was someone in front of me that went off on him, and he was in the middle of saying hi to us because he knows us. And you just hear her go like, so you think I'm robbing, right? Is that why you're doing this? Is it because of how I look? Is it? And it's like, it's part of his job. Yeah. He has to do this. He gets paid to do this. Mm-hmm. You don't have to be so mean to this beautiful old man.
Dude. Oh my God, I'm sorry. We're going to talk about this
I know.
fucking ever. One last thing I just want to say. When you were working retail, do you ever have a moment when someone was going off on you and somebody else defended you?
Yes. Beautiful.
Beautiful. Right? Beautiful.
I remember those moments where someone would say, I need to speak to a manager. And my manager would be behind them like, hey, I'm here. And
Yeah.
I'm just like, hell yes. Go off on them, king.
Yeah.
My manager was so cool. I remember there was this moment during Black Friday where they were fighting over TVs. And he was just really dry. And there was just this guy like, I need it more than you. I need it more. And then he was just like, there's nothing good to watch anyway, guys. It's just a TV. I'm like,
So
fuck,
true,
I love
though.
you.
So fucking true. Like, what what's worth it?
He was a sweet man because before that craziness started, he wanted to redress all of the mannequins into like more modern clothes that had just come out. But he was also like really like le daba vergüenza, like he would get embarrassed easily. So when he would change women mannequins, he would look away and he would put the shirt on because he didn't want to look at their body.
Oh my
And
god.
I'm like, you could look, it's a mannequin.
Yeah, he's like, no, I'm not looking. I'm respecting women, okay? Anyway, Cheli.
Yeah,
Cheli.
Oh my gosh, your ring hurt me.
I'm so sorry.
Oh my gosh, wait.
All this. Do you like my ring?
I do.
It's cute, right?
Is that your wedding?
Yeah, but I lost weight, so it doesn't fit on my ring finger. Can you believe it?
Queen.
I can't believe I lost weight.
My
Anyway.
God, wait. Cute.
Cheli.
Yes.
All of this to say, do you think a story centered around getting revenge on people who really mistreated you, do you think that could fix your life?
I think so.
Welcome to another episode of the Book Fix podcast, the podcast where we fix lives one book at a time. I'm your host, Yajaira.
And I'm your host, Cheli. And today we are going to be talking about Guillotine by Delilah Dawson.
S. Dawson.
Thank you.
I do want to read the content warning, though, because I think it's important for anyone who wants to read this book. Please be aware. There's a content warning, okay? It says, in this book, bad people get what they deserve, and they deserve what they get. There are many unsettling deaths, which I found quite cathartic to write. My publisher has identified the following trigger warnings: gore, graphic depictions of injury, sexual assault off-page, incest off-page, forced pregnancy off-page, rape off-page, abortion off-page. While I have never been in a position similar to Dez, I lived through childhood sexual assault, domestic violence, stalking, and rape. When I write about these topics, I do so through the lens of a survivor's rage. I have also been locked in a toy chest, and I will hold that grudge until I die. If you're still in, I sincerely hope you enjoy my little murder book. I very much enjoyed writing it.
I feel like that changed my perspective.
Can I just say, I feel when I read this, I feel so bad when writers have to tell you, hey, I've gone through this before. Yeah. I don't know what it is. I feel like you're valid even if you haven't gone through the R word. If you have even gone through stalking, I feel like you get it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You don't have to go through that to understand what it would feel like.
Does it feel like if they hadn't gone through that, they would kind of think that they need to justify why they wrote it?
Like I felt so like reading that, I was like, Delilah, it's okay. Your story is worth telling.
I will say this was really hard to read on certain parts.
Yeah, I get it. It's very gory.
I don't know how to describe.
The story is described as a cross between The Menu, Ready or Not, and Saw.
Would you agree with that?
I feel like a little bit. Knives Out was another one that it was described as. I feel like it's more... I don't know how to describe it. It's more like surface that, though. The Menu, I see it more... I see that more so than Ready or Not. Because Ready or Not, it's like a whole... Actually, I can see it a little bit, but... Have you seen those movies, by the way?
No, I haven't, but I know what they're about.
Okay.
To me, because I haven't seen any of those, it reminded me a lot of Get Out.
Oh, I think that actually...
Yeah. Was that one of them?
I think so.
Okay. It reminded me of that if
they
had gone an extra step.
Okay. I don't know if I'm mixing a different book.
No, you're right. It did say all of those.
I Saw. I was like, yeah, Saw, because it's creative forms of torture, I guess.
Yeah. Okay. I don't want to say too much right off the bat. So
we are a podcast where we will give you many spoilers. Okay. So if you're interested in reading this book, I would say go read it and then come back to this episode.
So this book starts with our girl, Dez Lane. Dez Lane really... Desiree. She really wants to be in the fashion industry.
She's 21.
And she's lower income. She was born lower income. But she still takes making fashion as like such a beautiful thing. Like she talks about how when people go thrifting, they're always scared of like stains or missing buttons, but she sees it as a new opportunity. And she just really wants to go work for like this magazine called Nouveau.
Well, yes, but at first she was really setting her goal on going to a fashion school, but she receives a letter basically denying her. What the fuck? Why am I blanking? Basically saying that she didn't make it in.
And she puts it on like a list of a bunch of other no's that she had on an Excel sheet. And then she goes, well, I guess I got to do the next best thing. And she remembers that she had met this guy at a bar whose name was Patrick. And Patrick Ruskin, I think that was his name.
Yes.
And she was like, I acted like I didn't know him. He touched me inappropriately. He did all this. He was drunk, whatever. But I know that he's the son of Marie. Oh, Marie. Marie Ruskin, who owns the fashion magazine Nouveau. So
I thought she had a different name.
Why?
Doesn't she have a different name? I mean, like, I don't know if it's Ruskin. Oh, you're Marie Caulfield-Ruskin was her name.
So,
but Patrick gave her the ick though, because she said that Patrick is the type of man who will just like rope people and think that that's like a compliment.
Yeah.
So she's just like throwing up internally, just thinking about texting him back, because during that night he took her phone number, texted her that he was going to show her a really good time. And she was like, fuck, fine. I'll just use him as my way in.
And it's funny because even when she texts him, he texts back, who is this?
Yeah.
And she's smart about it because she writes the qualities he would remember. Yeah. Little dress.
Red hair.
Yep.
Little body. I don't know.
Yep. So then he's like, oh, yeah, meet me here. And so then she's basically seeing Patrick in hopes that she can meet his mom and show her fashion.
Yeah, because she knows that if she were to see the fashion that she creates, she would be like blown away.
Yes. So I'm going to skip forward a little bit. She ends up getting an in because he is telling her, hey, I'm going to go to an island with my family soon, so I'm not going to be here for a week. And she's like, darn it.
An island?
Wait, you get to go to a beach? I've never worn my itty bitty bikini.
Yellow polka dot bikini.
It's floss, actually. I made it. It's just floss.
And she's like, I've never been to the beach before.
Yeah.
That sounds so romantic. And I don't think they've had sex because she was using that as, you know, a tool, I guess. And he was like, oh, well, if you were to go, you know, you have to accept that my family time is my family time. So you wouldn't be around them.
You'd be around the wives, though.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, my God, that is so perfect.
That's all I want.
That's all I want. So she packs up her stuff. She's ready to go. She shows up. It's a beautiful island, an amazing, like, mansion, castle-like thing.
It's a castle, but he does mention that he has a sibling that is no longer part of the family, because he says that their family is very like contract based. It's all about contracts. If you break the contract, you're basically out of the fucking will by see and ever. And he's like, I haven't spoken to one of my brothers in so long because
his brother Luke.
Yeah, so, you know, just so you know,
contracts are serious, so here's your contract. And she can't have her phone. She can't have anything that looks like a weapon, so even a nail file.
Yeah.
She can't have any of that. Can't talk about what happens on the island.
Can't have anything that would possibly record and anything that's happening.
And to, like, respect the Ruskin supremacy and whatever. Yeah. And she's just like, whatever, signs it off, turns it in. It's just weird.
Oh, she just turned in the contract. I thought you meant her stuff. No. So her stuff was already like rummaged through. Yes. And I thought it was so weird how the fucking sex toy was like in the fucking like dresser, like just right there, arriba, on top, so you could see that they knew what she had brought.
God. So in the contract, it also mentions that there is a lot of help.
The servants.
The servants that are walking around, they're dressed in pink. They don't talk to anyone. Don't give them a tip. We pay them enough. Just respect their space.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting that they were dressed in pink, because that means that any of the women who bring pink, the pink gets taken away.
Yep.
But what if like you have a really cute pink dress?
It's gone.
It's gone.
You don't have a really cute pink dress.
You have to dye it now.
One of the help is wearing it, and you're like, wait,
that's my dress.
So it was weird from the start.
Definitely.
And I didn't know anything. I'll be honest with you. I didn't read the trigger warnings. I just went in blind.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I was just kind of like, shit's about to go down. And I remember we read the summary for this story.
Yeah,
together,
right here in this couch.
Together before. It hadn't clicked to me that this was the one I was reading until way later. Yeah. But I was like, okay, she's the only one. Dez is the only one that respects the help. Everyone else only talks about like money, doing paperwork, playing tennis, which by the way, there was a part where Patrick introduces Dez to the dad,
Bill,
and the dad is like, son, let's go play tennis. Do you play tennis, Dez? You don't? Okay, I'm gonna take my son and play tennis. And then Patrick comes back to Dez, and Dez goes like, how was tennis? And he was like, what? Oh, it was fine, I guess.
Yeah.
What did they do?
I think they were just breeding the horses, no? Isn't that what they just did? The fucking horses?
I felt like they were doing something else.
They probably were. This family was weird and disgusting, so they probably were.
Oh, God.
So, Patrick's dad, Bill, is... I feel like, you know... We don't have to explain it. You know how Bill is. He's literally like looking at her like a piece of meat.
Yep.
And the worst part was that Patrick was like, just to let you know, whatever my dad tells you, you're not allowed to say no.
So that's like insinuating if he were to ask you to do something, you have to do it.
You have to do it. So I was really scared that fucking Bill was going to be like, oh, meet me in my room.
Can I say something? Can I say something controversial?
Also, there's no locks in her room. There's no lock.
Any of the guest rooms. I really wanted her to dislike everyone openly before the big drop. I wanted her to already be like, these bitches to every single one, so that when the drop happened and everyone turns to her like, help me, I wish she would have been like, fuck you. Fuck you, specifically. But it just kind of felt like I didn't know the characters until
the moments of their deaths. Yeah.
So basically, what this story is that during Black Saturday, which is like something they were celebrating as a family, they were all standing outside, and the grandpa was like, happy Black Saturday, everyone, Ruskin supremacy. And then all of a sudden, all the lights in the castle turn off.
Can I pause for a second?
Yeah.
I just wanted to bring up that moment when she meets the wives.
Oh, go ahead.
In the pool.
Go ahead.
So when she goes to the pool area, the two wives are there because, oh my God, I forgot their names. Anthony was one of the brothers. I don't remember the other brother's name, but Anthony's wife was
Christian.
Yes, Christian.
I think.
Anthony's wife was super pregnant. Like, she looked like she was about to pop.
Yeah.
And so Dez sees the wives, and she's just like, oh, what are you having? And the pregnant one was like, a boy, obviously. All they have are boys, which I thought was fucking weird.
Oh, that was weird.
But they have two little boys right there, the two sons. I forgot who they belong to.
Yeah.
But it was one of the brothers' sons, and they were so fucking rowdy and so loud and so obnoxious. And Dez just kind of has this realization of, wow, these boys are not taught how to shut up. Like they just like let them do whatever the fuck they want.
Yep.
And I thought this moment was weird because she's trying to talk to the two wives and have like a moment with them, because she asks them, I think, about Marie and Bill, like, how are they?
Nice.
Yeah, and they just kind of like laugh, and then they just like leave her. They like go to another side of the pool.
Well, they all separate, so they don't even hang out together. They're just separately sitting at the pool with earplugs while the kids are going crazy.
The two sons, yeah.
So we see moments where when Dez is alone with the servants, she's really nice to them. And they kind of get thrown off.
Yeah.
Like, she wanted to tip one of them, and he was like, no, I can't accept tip. She had walked into the kitchen because she wanted to get herself a snack. She didn't want to bother anyone. And everyone's just kind of like, oh, you know?
But she was like, do you guys have any, like, real food? Like, I don't know, some chips or something?
Yeah.
And they're like, no, well, we have cookies.
Yep. So it was always nice to see this, but whatever. Black Saturday happens, and the lights at the castle turn off, and the whole family turns, and all of a sudden, one of the main helpers, one of the main servants, her name was Valerie. She comes down and is like, hey, bitches, notice that everything's made of plastic. You can't throw anything at me, and y'all suck. Okay, main bitch, Grandfather Ruskin, sit down. And he makes Grandfather Ruskin sit down and lick a servant's shoe, I think.
She makes the head of the security lick the grandpa's shoe. Don't you remember the
grandpa licks the shoe?
Was it him? I thought it was a security guy, because I remember Valerie telling him, you just let everything happen.
Oh, you're right.
You didn't do anything to help us. You
And
just witnessed all of the monstrosities that they did, and you let it happen.
So that's security.
Lick his fucking shoe.
And after he does that, it was like laced with a lot of poisonous things, toxic things, and he dies.
Yeah.
And everyone just starts running, right?
I think Valerie tells them, you could try to escape, but good luck, because there's no escape.
And the only one boat that was there is starting to go away.
It's like drifting into sea.
One of the uncles, who was
Frank,
he was like almost going to be an Olympic swimmer, tried going for it, but they had thrown blood in the ocean, so they watched him get eaten by sharks.
They were on the boat, though.
Oh,
They were on the boat, and then they came out. I thought this scene was really cool, because they just came out in fucking pink, and they're just like staring at Frank, who had almost reached the boat.
Yeah.
And they're just throwing blood and whatever the fuck to attract sharks. And then you just see a bunch of sharks show up. And fucking I thought it was so funny how Patrick was so like, what's the word? Useless. So he was just like, oh, Frank. Oh, he could have saved us. But it was like, would he have saved you? Because you guys are very what's the saying?
Useless?
No. What's the every man for themselves?
Yes.
That's literally the vibe of this family. So then what happens?
It's just a killing spree, dude.
No, literally. But how did they kill the grandpa?
I don't remember. That's why I thought he died there. Did the grandpa die off stage?
For some reason, I don't remember the grandpa, but I do remember that the first death, because fucking, I just love that it's Dez who's trying to come up with the solutions of what the hell they can do to escape. And so she tells him, well, where do you guys have weapons? And he says, the stables, I think.
Yeah.
So they go towards the stables, and obviously the servants are already there with the grandma. And Patrick gets mad at her.
Yeah.
He's just like, yeah, good thinking. And bitch,
So
you didn't even fucking come up with this.
But also, a really cool thing was when they were running to the stables, they realized that there were people in pink that were kind of, I don't know if they were chasing them, but Dez was the first one to be like, they're rounding us up.
Yeah, like they're hurting you, like little
to a certain
sheep.
place. So when they got to the stable, there was more people there. And they were basically forced to watch the grandma die.
Because this felt like a spectacle.
Yes, and it was very torturous. Like, it's very old style torture.
Yes, like I said, it's very Saw, so it's like creative deaths.
She was no more after what had happened to her. Read the book. Can I say
we're
something?
not going to talk about the deaths?
Oh, we can if you want to. Okay, so grandma here.
Wait, first, the horses.
Yes.
What was that shit with the horses? They would breed their own horses?
I guess so, to get like the perfect horse. Like,
But
they
that
didn't want it. Were the horses white?
But the horse...
Were the horses white?
Maybe. I don't remember. They probably were. But wasn't it like they weren't normal? Like, they were very violent.
Yeah, I'm going to be honest with you. I thought they were fucking the horses.
They might have been.
That's
actually
disgusting.
No, that would have been on the content
Yeah, that
warning.
would have been on the content warning. But I thought they were. So I was just kind of like... But they got grandma.
And they basically told her, hey, you allowed this to happen. You knew. So basically, they're basically the daughters, the forgotten daughters.
Because only Ruskins can only have sons. Mm-hmm. So all the daughters they would have, they just are the servants now. Mm-hmm. And they see all this shit happen. And Grandma sees all this shit happen, but she didn't do anything to stop it. So Grandma, we're going to connect all your limbs and your head to a horse and a rope, and they're just going to run. And if they loved you, maybe they'll run towards you. But I don't think they loved you. And they let her be torn apart.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Can I say something?
Say it. Say it with your chest.
I was not into this book at all. When all this killing started happening, first of all, I'm a lover.
Boo.
No,
tomato.
To me, I'm just kind of like, why are you giving me plot while they're dying? I don't want to hear you monologue like a villain.
Yeah, I get it.
When I'm on your side.
Yeah.
I wasn't there for that shit. I was like, I don't fucking care. Don't make... And then Dez going like, okay, we got to go somewhere else. And then they end up where the next death is. It's kind of like,
well,
I don't care.
Because they were, like you said, they were kind of like hurting them.
I know.
And it almost felt like they were waiting until there were like enough people here. You know what I mean? Until they actually started the next death. Mm-hmm. Which I think the next death was the uncle, no?
Yeah.
The uncle who showed up the day after. Mm-hmm. I forgot his name. But basically the uncle would R-word the servants.
Yeah.
Which I don't remember. Well, it's incest. Yes. But I don't know what they were directly to him. You know what I mean?
They might have also been daughters.
They might have been, right?
Because I think when they would have kids, they would just add to the servants. Mm-hmm. So
what they did to him was I think they strapped him to the table. I think it was in the kitchen.
They opened that and shit up.
Opened his, like, if he were a woman, where his uterus would be. You know what I mean? Because I don't remember exactly what he did, to be honest. Besides the R word.
Was he the one that R-worded the two men? Or was that the brother?
That's someone else.
Okay. I will say, for every single death that happens, right before they die, Dez hears all of them say, I was young, though.
Oh, my God.
I was a kid. Get over it.
I was a child. Oh, the uncle was the actor.
Oh, yeah.
He was the actor. Because I remember Dez thinking, wow, he doesn't look that handsome anymore. He looks like he's melting. Mm-hmm. And so, yeah, they opened him up. And I thought this scene was actually, I don't know how you feel, but I felt like out of all the deaths, this one felt pretty bad, powerful. All of the girls were fucking punching him. Like, they had, like, meat cleavers and just, like...
Yep. Like, but they were pulling shit out and far. So, God.
Yeah.
The next death was the brother.
Yeah, but I remember before this... Dez's feet were killing her. She was just like running around barefoot, just trying to find some shoes around here. Yeah. And she gets the bright idea, let's hide in the basement. Mm-hmm. And so they're in the basement, and Anthony, which is the brother, and his pregnant wife, I forgot her name, but they were both already hiding there, and they were kind of like, get the fuck out of here. Yeah. This is our hiding spot.
And it's funny because they're so fucking loud, and Dez is like, I'm just going to go somewhere else. Mm. And they're over here like, no, it's my hiding spot. No, it's mine. And it's like the people in pink are like, hey,
I didn't need to look for you.
Your death was actually last, but I guess it's first now. That brother was the one who had slept with two men.
Forced himself
on two men. Mm-hmm. And then
two servants.
And blamed it on them. Right? Like, he didn't want it to be known.
So the way that he forced himself was really, really violent. And one of the victims bled a lot. And I think had to get stitches. But Anthony would try to use the excuse, I was young. Wasn't he like 8?
Yeah.
He was really young. But because of who he was, he had a lot of power over people. So he was like, I was young and like, you know, me getting everything I want. I'm the real victim if you think about it. So I actually really liked this scene too because they kind of like push him into a tub. But the tub was like really deep.
Yeah.
Because he would try to get out, but he would just slip back in.
Yeah.
And they fucking put concrete down that bitch.
quick concrete too. So it dried fast. And they made him open his mouth so it would go into his mouth as well.
Yeah, and his eyes.
And as soon as the people in pink left, fucking se aprovechó Dez. She took advantage and
she tried to grab his shoes because she was like, fuck, my feet hurt. And Patrick
was like, that's my brother's
that's
shoes.
my fucking brother. And doesn't he slap her?
Yeah.
He slaps her, right?
And then she says, don't ever fucking hit me again or I'm going to kill you.
Yeah. She's like, I'm going to kill you myself.
But then Patrick comes back. Like, she leaves to her room, changes. Patrick comes back and he's like, babe.
I'm so sorry. That's my brother and I feel so bad.
And she's angry. She's always, because I don't know if it's at this point, but they have a lot of bickering moments. And he's always like, wow, good to know that you're a bitch during stressful situations. And he was like, I'm sorry. I didn't know I was going to come to a murder spree when you hung out with your family.
Yeah.
So, whatever.
Bad timing on her part, but whatever.
I do really like, though, that while everything's happening and she's hearing Valerie go off about how bad these people were, she kind of goes like, I think everyone here is kind of shitty. I kind of agree with the people in pink.
Yeah, like they're kind of saying something.
So I just thought it was funny because everyone over here is like, no, it's not his fault. And she's like,
it kind of is his fault, though. I like that part where, I think it was after this, where she ends up in like a hallway or something. And she's looking out the window and Marie is looking out another window, but they're like kind of like across from each other.
Yeah.
Not across, but like, you know what I mean? Like,
yes.
Like if they were next to each other, but not that close. And then they're looking outside to where the tennis court is, and that's Bill's death, the dad. And so we find out that Bill was actually Valerie's dad.
Yeah.
And he took advantage of her.
Mm-hmm.
And she was like, you knew that there was a possibility I was your daughter, and yet you still did that.
Mm-hmm.
And so his death was, they used the
tennis ball machine, the one that throws tennis balls at a really fast pace.
Yeah, so they
put it in front of him and just
kept going.
Mm-hmm. While also hitting him with like a hammer, I think.
Yeah.
Or a mallet. Sorry. That was a mallet. Mm-hmm. That happens. And then Dez is just like, oh.
And Maria's like, no, not my husband.
No.
I'm just kidding. It didn't seem like she cared, really.
She did not care about any single death.
No. I honestly felt like the women were kind of hollow.
Yeah.
In this world, which, I mean, I guess it makes sense.
Why they became like that.
Yeah.
I don't remember who dies next. Is it Patrick?
Patrick, yeah.
So Patrick, when Valerie sees him, says, you know what? Out of everyone, you were the least worse one. Because you didn't R-word people. You didn't do any of this shit. But remember that time we played a game and you lost? And you got so mad at me that you put me in a box for hours? Yeah.
He locked her in his chest.
Yeah. So
when they were kids. And he was like, we were kids.
He was locked in a chest.
I love that part, though, and he was like, oh, I miss my brother Luke. They fucking killed Luke, you dumbass. They killed him. Luke's dead?
Damn.
Because she explained to him, nobody can leave this family alive.
Yep.
You guys know too much. So Luke, I forgot what Luke did. But he did something.
He just didn't want to be part of the family, right?
Yeah, I think that's what it was. Like, he didn't want to do this shit anymore. And they ended up killing him.
Yes. So then Patrick gets put in a chest. They put sandbags on top of him.
Oh, my God.
And they throw cockroaches and a snake in there. And it's funny because he goes like, no, the snake is poisonous. And then Dez is like, venomous. And Valerie's like, thank you. That's the word. And then it's just Dez and Marie. And Marie's over here like, Dez, you don't get it. I know you and I know your work and you can be a beautiful thing. And she's just kind of like, you pretended you didn't know me this whole time.
Yeah, they don't have this conversation yet, though,
right.
because the pink people, the servants, they're like, Dez, you've been really nice, really sweet. I don't understand why you're here in the first place, but we can't let you live, girl. You know too much. So I propose that you kill Marie, and then we won't have to kill you, because now, you know, you're in it too now.
And then that's when her and Marie have that conversation.
They get locked in a closet together.
Yes. And Marie kind of makes it seem like, you know, I really believe in your work and you can get really far and I'd love to see you succeed under me.
It's so fucking funny because Dez is like, wow, you're a really bad actress.
Yeah. And then
But then she tries to say, I know who your dad is.
Yep.
Don't you want to know who your dad is? Do you think that I would let just any rando here? You obviously have to be the daughter of someone important to be here. Which Patrick did bring that up I forgot when it was, but it was near the beginning, how he didn't know why they let Dez into the island, because they didn't even allow his ex-girlfriend into the island. Like, they had to be someone important.
Yep.
Even the wives came from important families.
Mm-hmm. But they fight in the closet.
Marie and Dez, yeah.
And I remember Dez's last move to kill her was to put on a heel and step on her throat. And as soon as Marie died, the people in pink are like, Queen, well, now we won't kill you because you just did something that we all did too. So you're part of it now.
Yeah.
And you won't say anything. How does this book end?
So then the people in pink clean everything up. And Dez kind of has this realization of, fuck, I don't want to be a part of this life. Like, I don't care who my father is, but he's probably just like this family if he's rich.
Yep.
So she decides that she's going to leave the life of fashion behind, and she's going to focus more so on, like, not being associated with, like, fast fashion. Like, what would that be? Like, being conscious of the effects of fashion and climate.
Okay.
So I think she was just going to be like a journalist, to be honest. I have no idea. But that's what she was going to dedicate her life to now. She wasn't going to be in the fashion world, but kind of like adjacent to it. The end. Yeah, that's literally how it ends.
This is a lot.
Yeah.
This is like a lot.
Mm-hmm.
This feels to me that it would have done so well if it was a movie.
Mm-hmm.
Like a slasher, a summer slasher.
Yeah.
That's this type of shit.
Mm-hmm.
As a book, I did not enjoy this one bit.
Really?
I just wasn't here for it. Because it was literally just torture. That was the whole thing. And I know that in the dedication it said, well, this is for the people who've been through this shit and revenge and everything. But I'm like, you're getting revenge on people I don't care about. You didn't make me hate them more. Like, of course they're horrible people, but I wish that Dez would have formed a relationship with all of them a little bit.
Yeah, I get it. I get what you mean.
For me to see it. Because the only person she even talked to the whole time was Patrick.
Yeah.
I hated that it was just her and Patrick running together. I wish she would have had more interaction with the wives and the brothers. Marie, I'm okay that they never had an interaction. I thought that actually added.
Oh, by the way, they killed the wives.
Yeah, they did kill the wives. Did they kill the kids?
I don't know. No, they kept the kids in a basement or
Okay.
in a different room. I don't remember where, but.
And they were going to raise them right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then they stole the baby.
They stole a baby out of a wife.
The Anthony's wife.
Mm-hmm.
But it was a daughter, though. It wasn't a son.
Yes. I don't know. How did you feel?
I felt like I actually really did enjoy this book. I feel it's weird because I don't particularly enjoy gore. I really don't. But I feel like for me, I don't know if you feel the same way. When it comes to movies like Terrifier, I can't think of another really. Hostel.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it feels like gore is really driven on hurting women.
Yeah.
So when it's not hurting women, you know what I mean? I don't know.
I don't
know if that makes sense, but because this story was about women getting revenge on the men who are literally pieces of shit, I was like, okay, I can be okay with that, I guess.
Because it's a different perspective on an old thing.
Yeah.
I get what you mean.
So the plot, I feel like I feel similarly to you, where I wish that she would have formed her own relationship, but then that would have been really scary because I feel like they would have abused her if they would have shown their true colors. You know what I mean?
Well, maybe she could have just walked around because I felt like it just happened immediately.
Mm-hmm.
The only place she went to was the pool. So I wish she would have made more effort. Like, if I want to get to know this family, if I want Marie to like me, I need to get to know everyone.
Yeah.
You know, I wish it would have been something like that. I understand what you mean. I wouldn't want anything to happen to her either, but it was just, to me, it felt like it was just torture and that was it. And that's fine if you wanted to write a revenge book.
Mm-hmm.
But I just wasn't in it.
I think I was more in it because I did read the content warning.
Yeah, maybe I would have felt differently after that. I don't know. I don't think this is my type of book.
I get it.
Thought the writing was good. I thought the dialogue was fine, but like...
I really liked the writing a lot.
Damn.
I thought Delilah was a really good writer.
Mm-hmm. Do you feel like you would read something else?
Yeah.
From Delilah?
Of course. Delilah, me and her are besties now.
I think it's kind of funny because it feels like every person that writes thriller or horror, they all know each other. Kind of feels like the community of horror writers is small.
Oh, yeah, because we saw that it has a lot of blurbs from authors that we're familiar with.
Yeah. It's weird. I don't know.
It is weird.
Glad they're supporting each other. But I don't think this book is for me. I don't know.
That's okay, Queen.
I think overall rating, I would probably give this a 2 out of 5.
I honestly would have given it a 5, actually.
Damn.
I really, really enjoyed this book, but I just feel like it needed a little bit more with with Dez at the end. I don't know. I still don't really understand what is gonna come of this. You know what
I thought she would have stayed.
Maybe.
Yeah.
You know what I thought? I really thought when she was offing Marie, I was like, oh my God, this girl did not care to know who her father is. She's going to somehow find him and kill him. That's literally what I thought was going to happen, that she was just going to continue this violence because she would assume that he was probably like this family.
Yeah.
But that didn't happen. And I'm kind of glad it didn't happen that way. But I feel like it would have been a 5 had there been a little bit more, I guess, more story in terms of how this family was, because like you said, Cheli, we're kind of learning it as they're being killed. But it would have been nice if we would have already been kind of familiar with who these people were and how they acted before we received like this monologue. So I think I would give it like a 4 out of 5.
I respect that.
Thank you, Queen. Thank you. Not something that I would necessarily pick though, but I did like it.
Dude, I feel like all these spooky books are like tearing my sanity apart.
So funny.
How do you feel?
I feel sad that spooky season's almost over.
I feel like although we read 2 of them that I gave a 5 to, there hasn't been one that has gripped me.
Which ones did you give 5 to?
We Used to Live Here.
Oh yes! Oh my God, that was the beginning.
And the other one that was at the beginning, I don't remember which one it was. Home is Where the Bodies Are.
Oh yes.
Those 2 were good, but I know they're not going to be my book of the year. You know, I haven't.
Uno nunca sabe.
You're right.
What does that mean?
You never know. I don't have one that's gripped me yet. Because last year the Har gripped me. I think that was last year. Was the Har last year? What was last year's spooky reads?
I don't remember actually.
But I feel like every
maybe.
year there's been one that has gripped me. There hasn't been one yet. So I'm waiting. I really hope that the last few of our spooky reads, because we're almost done, I hope there's a good one in there.
Me too.
That being said, if you are listening to us in audio form, whether that be Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, or anywhere you get your podcasts on, thank you so much. If you can leave a rating of 5 stars and a review recommending us our next read. We are currently looking for November reads. Please keep it soft, keep it light, maybe dark romance, but like a light dark romance. So like a medium dark romance. I think that's great. If you want to support us and you have a little bit of money, what can they do?
So we do have a Patreon, and at the moment it really just serves as a way for our listeners to let us know that you really enjoyed our content. You can find us on patreon.com/bookfix. But if you don't want the commitment of monthly, then you can find us on buymeacoffee.com/thebookfix or coffee, which is ko-fi.com/thebookfix.
If you are watching us on YouTube, thank you so much. If you can like, comment, subscribe, and hit that notification bell, because we post every Tuesday and Thursday, along with some bonus episodes on Monday. If you are watching us, or if you would like to support us on social media, we do have an Instagram, a Threads, and a Goodreads at The Book Fix Pod, and a TikTok at The Book Fix. Thank you. So why don't we read some reviews about this book? I want to read a negative. This review speaks about a line that I wanted to mention. Did you listen to the audiobook?
No.
Okay. In the audiobook, they changed the word from the R word to the word hurt. So I wanted to talk about this line. Important note, this is about the NDA that she signs. It's on page 35 and 36. The quote goes, "If Patrick or anyone else R-words her, she can't report it to the police." And the person wrote, yes, you can. There's no NDA in the USA that can sign that legally prevents you from reporting crimes. I don't know if that's how it works for other countries, but in the USA, you 100% are not prevented from reporting crimes that have been done to you or to others because of an NDA. That's something a lot of NDA abusing scumbags would like people to believe, but it's not true. 1 out of 5.
Okay. Mine comes from the Vampire's Library. They gave it 5 out of 5, and they wrote, "Did I receive this just yesterday and finish it yesterday? Maybe. I hope you're hungry. Get your knives and forks ready as Dawson serves up and eat the rich, heart-pounding horror and tantalizing revenge thriller, cathartic, unapologetic, and self-aware. This was a book I devoured in one sitting. Girly gore at its finest. There is something addictive about indulging in reading about wealthy, entitled individuals acting in a repulsive manner. Kind of a guilty pleasure, right? Full of graphic and rather inventive kills reminiscent of Saw. This will appeal to fans of horror in general. However, this is as much a political statement and satire as it is a gore fest frolic that will have you questioning your own morals as much as the characters."
Thank you so much for listening, and we will talk to you next time.
Bye.
Bye. Okay, where are you at with your Goodreads goals? I'm currently adding my reread of Heartstopper because I reread that shit. I did not reread book 5. I'm sorry.
I'm at 73 out of 50. 50 was my goal.
Oh, you kept it at 50?
Yeah. I don't really care to increase it.
You know what? Next year, I think I'm just going to have it at 50 too. There's no point. I'm not even, because I remember before I would think about it often and really want to hit my goal.
I don't think it's really worth it, to be honest.
Nothing. If Goodreads was like, I'll give you $500 if you hit your goal, then hell yeah.
By the way, the video might end.
Oh, really? Okay. Yeah. Let me check my number. Hold on.
It probably already ended.
They're just looking at a screen now. It's okay. I'm at 96 out of 120. Nice. But I've been reading a lot of manga.
Yeah.
Brain so big.
Brain so big.
Heart so big too.